So just understand about Mahatma Gandhi's arrival to India's political scene. Clear? Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi. Clear? Understand? Clear? Just understand. Mahatma Gandhi, originally known as Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, was born on 2nd of October 1869 at Porbandar in Gujarat. After attaining his initial education, he passed the Bar Council examination from London at the age of 24 years. When he came to India, he could not be successful in legal profession, but he was given a legal assignment by Dada Abdullah, and this legal assignment was to be pursued in South Africa. Therefore, at the age of 24 years in 1893, Mahatma Gandhi landed up in the city of Durban in South Africa, where he realized large-scale racial discrimination. And since this racial discrimination was there in the region of South Africa, he started his Satyagraha at this time. Clear? He wrote some important works in South Africa like Indian Opinion, and another work titled as Hind Swaraj. Hind Swaraj. In South Africa, he experimented with his concept of Satyagraha, having two components of truth and non-violence. While struggling for racial equality, he developed his own form of struggle, and his form of struggle was marked by non-cooperation and civil disobedience. He developed his own strategy of mass struggle. This strategy of mass struggle is known as struggle, truce, struggle. That is, one phase of active struggle marked by phase of truce, and truce should be again followed by another active phase of struggle. After getting this huge reservoir of experience, Mahatma Gandhi returned back to India in 1915 at the age of 46 years on the invitation of Gopal Krishna Gokhale. When he came to India, he got involved in 3 local issues, and these local issues were at Champaran, Ahmedabad, and Kheda. At Champaran, it was the Teen Kathia system which affected the interest of peasants as they were forced to cultivate indigo. And at Champaran, Mahatma Gandhi was invited by Rajkumar Shukla, where Mahatma Gandhi started Satyagraha, where he came to contact with a great leader from Bihar, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Clear? After resolving this issue at Champaran, Mahatma Gandhi went to resolve workers' dispute at Ahmedabad, in which he started hunger strike for the first time. So he started hunger strike for the first time at Ahmedabad against the mill owners of Ahmedabad, who had guaranteed bonus amount to the workers in time of plague, clear, which was not given. At the same time, under the pressure of Mahatma Gandhi, the demands of workers were largely accepted, and here only Mahatma Gandhi established the first modern labor organization. This first major labor organization is known as Ahmedabad Textile Association. Ahmedabad Textile Association in 1918. After resolving this issue, Mahatma Gandhi went to Kheda to resolve agrarian issue, where he came into contact with a great leader from Gujarat, that is, great leader Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and Indulal Yagnik. With this, Mahatma Gandhi became highly popular, and he was given a chance to launch mass movement in 1919 largely because of two issues, clear, and that was largely because of the First World War, clear. So there was some consequences of national movement due to First World War also. We'll discuss about impact of the First World War. First World 1914 to 18, clear. During the course of First World War, clear, First World War, proper treatment was not given by Britain to a sensitive country, that is Turkey, which was the head of Ottoman Empire, and Sultan of Turkey was the Khalifa, the spiritual head of Islamic population. Since proper treatment was not given to Turkey after First World War, Muslims in India also felt highly disturbed, and there were two Muslim leaders, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali started the Khilafat movement in 1919. Khilafat movement in 1919, which became a highly popular movement. At the same time, British authority enacted Rowlatt Act in India, whereby any person could be arrested without giving any reason, and by applying Rowlatt Act, British authority arrested two leaders of Punjab, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichliu. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichliu. In order to protest against these two leaders, large mass of crowd gathered at Jallianwala Bagh at Amritsar. On 13th of April 1919. Right at this time, British military officer General Dyer entered into the Jallianwala Bagh premises and ordered the troops to fire, leading to casualty of more than 1,500 people. Right, this was a rude shock to the people all across India, and thereafter masses were ready for mass movement. Clear? Mahatma Gandhi gave last chance to British to rectify their error, and he wanted separate inquiry into Jallianwala Bagh. And with this, British authority constituted Hunter Commission in 1919 to conduct inquiry into the massacre. Hunter Commission made it clear that even though General Dyer acted according to rules and regulations, but this violence massacre could have been avoided. Clear? This further affected the sentiments of people, and Mahatma Gandhi launched his first mass movement in form of the Non-Cooperation Movement in 1920. It was the first movement under Mahatma Gandhi's leadership. This movement was launched with three major objectives. These major objectives were redressal of Khilafat issue, rectification of Punjab wrongs, and third is establishment of Swaraj, self-government under British rule. Right, this first mass movement under Mahatma Gandhi was marked by distinctive features. Right, number one, these features of non-cooperation movement. Clear? Lawyers left their lucrative profession to participate in mass movement. Students left the educational institutions to support mass movement, and thereafter indigenous educational institutions were established. Those institutions included Kashi Vidyapeeth at Banaras and Jamia Millia Islamia, Jamia Millia Islamia at Aligarh, later to be transferred to Delhi. Clear? Right. During this movement, women contributed significantly and they boycotted the British-made goods. Clear? So, boycott of British-made goods was the most successful program of this movement. Clear? The most distinctive feature of this movement was complete Hindu-Muslim unity. Complete Hindu-Muslim unity. Clear? Unity. Just understand, this movement was ended by Mahatma Gandhi abruptly. Clear? And this movement was ended abruptly. This movement was ended abruptly due to a violent incident at Chauri Chaura. Violent incident at Chauri Chaura. Incident at Chauri Chaura near Gorakhpur. On 5th of February 1922. Clear? Right. Mahatma Gandhi announced the end of this movement through Bardoli resolution. Of 12th of February 1905. 12th of February 1905. 1905. Clear? Thereafter, Mahatma Gandhi announced his constructive program. Mahatma Gandhi announced his constructive program with 4 components, and these components were to promote Hindu-Muslim unity, to ensure emancipation of women, then abolition of untouchability, and promotion of charkha and khadi. Clear? This was the development, right? Just understand. Meanwhile, British authority decided to conduct election to include the members to Central Legislative Council through direct election, and when this election was announced, differences began to emerge among Congress members. Some Congress members wanted to continue with constructive program of Mahatma Gandhi. Some members wanted to participate in council entry program. This resulted into informal division among Congress members into no changers and pro-changers. No changers included C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. On the other hand, pro-changers who wanted to participate in council entry program, this included Motilal Nehru and C.R. Das, also known as Deshbandhu and C.R. Das. Clear? Right. Finally, pro-changers were given the right to participate in this election, and when this election took place in 1924, clear, out of 101 seats reserved for Indian members, this Congress members, clear, they won 42 seats out of 101 seats. But what happened, how this election took place, we'll understand. Clear? Mahatma Gandhi allowed the pro-changers to participate in this election. When this permission was given, Congress members convened the annual session at Gaya in 1922 under the presidency of C.R. Das, where he announced the formation of a party within Congress, the party being known as the Congress Swaraj Party, to participate in upcoming election. The permission to participate and this party was announced at Gaya session, but this party formally came into existence on 1st of January 1923. This date is important. Clear? Decision was taken in December 1922 at Congress session. The party formally came into existence on 1st of January 1923 with C.R. Das as president and Motilal Nehru as secretary. Clear? Then this party was formally recognized by Congress members when our next annual session was convened at Delhi, and this session was presided in 1923 by Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, who proved to be the youngest Congress president at this time. Clear? So Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. When this election took place in 1924 and 42 members out of 101 members were declared to be victorious. These members were allowed to enter in Central Legislative Council during the next annual session, and this next annual session was held at Belgaum in 1924, presided by Mahatma Gandhi. This is the only session presided by Mahatma Gandhi. These sessions are important. Clear? Presided by Mahatma Gandhi. When 42 members of Congress Swaraj Party entered into Central Legislative Council, in the very next year in 1925, they elected their own leader as the Speaker of Central Legislative Council, and the first leader to be elected in Central Legislative Council Speaker was Vittal Bhai J. Patel. Right. However, in the same year in 1925, Swaraj Party suffered a big blow as C.R. Das died, and all responsibility for Swaraj Party came on the shoulders of Motilal Nehru. This led to huge popularity of Motilal Nehru, and Congress Swaraj Party opposed several reactionary proposals of the British, the two most important being the Public Safety Bill, and the Trade Dispute Bill. Public Safety Bill and the Trade Dispute Bill. Now just understand, okay, all these Congress members were doing their job. Clear? Meanwhile, at the same time, outside the Legislative Assembly also, some major developments were taking place. Since a scheme of diarchy failed at provincial level due to faulty division of subjects, thereafter only, clear? Since the scheme of diarchy failed at provincial level, British authority in London appointed a royal commission to review the scheme of diarchy, and this royal commission was a pure English commission, only comprising of English members, headed by Lord Simon. Clear? So a commission was constituted under the chairmanship of Lord Simon. This commission, Simon Commission, pure English commission, came to India in 1927, which was considered to be a cruel joke. An anti-Simon protest movement started all across India. Clear? Anti-Simon protest demonstration was going on in India, and in this process only, leader of Punjab, Lala Lajpat Rai, was beaten by police at Lahore, and he died on 17th of November 1928. This affected the major development of national movement on 17th of November 1928. Meanwhile, since Lord Simon could not review the scheme of diarchy properly because of public protest, he threw a challenge to Indian leaders that if Indian leaders think that they can draft certain provisions of future constitution of India, they are free to do so. When this challenge was given to Indian leaders, it was accepted by Congress Party, and an expert committee was constituted under the leadership of Motilal Nehru, who had become highly popular by this time, to draft the future constitution of India. But Muhammad Ali Jinnah wanted to take this responsibility, which was denied to Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and therefore he walked away from Congress, and he wrote an article known as Parting of the Ways. And thereafter, from here, communalism began to raise its ugly head. This committee under Nehru prepared a report which is popularly known as Nehru Report, and Nehru Report was presented at the annual session of the Congress at Calcutta in 1928, again presided by Motilal Nehru only. Clear? When this Nehru report was presented at Calcutta in 1928, this report was first rejected by none other than the son of Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru. Clear? The reason is Jawaharlal Nehru, supported by Subhash and Bose, at this time wanted, clear, that Indian national movement should demand complete independence from British rule, unlike the dominion status of Swaraj demanded by Nehru report. So this report was first rejected by Jawaharlal Nehru. Obviously, the second leader to reject this report was Muhammad Ali Jinnah. While rejecting Nehru report, what was the basis of his rejection? In Nehru report, it was demanded joint electorates for Muslims. But Muhammad Ali Jinnah made it clear, separate electorates has been accepted by Congress in Lucknow session. They cannot revert back to joint electorates. Clear? And Jinnah also rejected the Nehru report, went forward to give his 14 points in 1929, whereby he wanted that Muslims should be given all their demands immediately, and from here communalism began to raise its ugly head. So Nehru report could not be passed at Calcutta session. But meanwhile, Jawaharlal Nehru started to emerge as popular leader, and in the next year in 1929, Congress session was convened at Lahore on the banks of river Ravi, and this was a historic session presided by Jawaharlal Nehru. First of all, it marked a family victory because son succeeded his father as the president of Indian National Congress. Not only this, at this time during Lahore session, Jawaharlal Nehru passed the resolution of complete independence, also known as Purna Swaraj. So resolution of complete independence or Purna Swaraj was passed at this time. Clear? While enacting the resolution of Purna Swaraj, Nehru also made it clear that just after 1 month, 26th of January 1930, would be celebrated as the first Independence Day, and he also issued Independence Pledge. He also hoisted the tricolor flag on the banks of river Ravi, and just because of this, they all requested Mahatma Gandhi to launch another phase of active mass struggle. Clear? Since it was decided to launch another phase of active mass struggle at this point of time, clear? At this time, all Congress leaders within Central Legislative Council resigned collectively in 1929. So they remained in offices only for 5 years, but played very important and committed service for 5 years within Council. Clear? At 1929, when Lahore session came to an end, even Mahatma Gandhi realized time has come to launch another mass movement, and to launch this movement, he again wanted to give last chance to British. He presented a set of 11 demands to the contemporary Governor General. This contemporary Governor General was Lord Irwin. And in those 11 demands, Mahatma Gandhi made only some mild demands like abolition of monopoly over salt production, end and manufacture of liquor production in India, end of restrictions on forest produce in India. At the same time, clear, proper treatment to Indian prisoners behind the bars, release of all prisoners not charged with violence. Mild demands were given at this time. Clear? Even these demands were rejected by Lord Irwin. So Mahatma Gandhi was left with no other chance than to launch mass movement. And to create that mobilization for mass movement, Mahatma Gandhi, along with 78 chosen followers, started his march from Sabarmati Ashram at Ahmedabad on 12th of March 1930. He covered more than 350 miles at this time, and in the morning of 6th of April 1930, he reached the coast of Dandi in Gujarat. There he picked up a handful of salt and said that such laws cannot be tolerated, and he announced the launch of another mass movement known as the Civil Disobedience Movement. Clear? So this became the second mass movement of Mahatma Gandhi, known as the Civil Disobedience Movement from 1930 to 1934 for 4 years. Clear? In 2 phases. Civil disobedience movement. Now, what were the distinctive features of this movement? Clear? Because participants are asked, leaders are asked, regional participation is asked. Clear? This movement was first expressed in the northwestern part of India by Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. He led a peaceful protest movement with support of religious members known as Khudai Khidmatgars, also known as servants of God. Khudai Khidmatgars, servants of God. In order to suppress Khudai Khidmatgars, British deputed 2 regiments of Garhwali soldiers. 2 regiments of Garhwali soldiers, but they refused to fire. Which indicate that nationalism emerged among military soldiers as well. Clear? Right. This movement was expressed in the extreme northeastern part of India under the leadership of Rani Gedilio. Under the leader of Rani Gedilio in the region of Manipur, present part of Nagaland, Manipur. Clear? She was arrested only to be released in independent India. Clear? Next was, during this movement, salt Satyagraha was launched by C. Raja Gopalachari. This question has been asked on prelims just few years back. So, C. Raja Gopalachari in Madras province. Similar salt Satyagraha was launched by Sarojini Naidu. Along the northern parts of India. Clear? Northern part of India. Then, anti-Chaukidari campaign of Eastern India. Anti-Chaukidari campaign of Eastern India got merged with this movement. Anti-forest law of South India got integrated with the movement. Then, picketing of liquor shops. Took place during this movement. Liquor shops took place in this movement. So, Pan-India movement in real sense. Right. Just understand, when this movement was at its peak, Mahatma Gandhi suspended this movement to participate in the Round Table Conference at London. Clear? Now understand about this conference. Clear? When Lord Simon returned back from India, he submitted his report to British authority, and thereafter, to discuss this report, British authority convened the first session of the Round Table Conference. In November 1930. Right. However, this conference was not attended by Congress leaders and all deliberations proved to be futile. Thereafter, British decided to invite Mahatma Gandhi for second round table conference, and that led to negotiation between Mahatma Gandhi and Lord Irwin. Mahatma Gandhi presented the same 11 demands that he presented to Lord Irwin. Lord Irwin accepted all those demands, and that led to Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Gandhi-Irwin Pact on 5th of March 1931. Right, clear? Right, thereafter Mahatma Gandhi decided to suspend the civil disobedience movement and proceed to attend the second session of Round Table Conference, and this decision of Mahatma Gandhi was approved by Congress members during its annual session at Karachi in 1931, August 1931, presided by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Right, during this session, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel passed the resolution on fundamental rights and economic policy fundamental rights and economic policy. Clear? Right. Mahatma Gandhi attended the second session of the Round Table Conference. Just understand, attended the second Round Table Conference with Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, and Sarojini Naidu, and demanded dominion status for India. Which was rejected by British. Mahatma Gandhi returned back to India, decided to resume the civil disobedience movement, but masses did not support. Rather, Mahatma Gandhi was arrested by British and he was kept in the Yerawada jail in Pune. Clear? Yerawada jail in Pune. Therefore, on health ground, he was released. He decided to end the movement in 1933 and civil disobedience movement finally came to an end in 1934. Meanwhile, British authority convened the third session of the Round Table Conference in 1932. Again discussed about Indian affairs elaborately without Congress leader, and ultimately due to the deliberations of the third session of Round Table Conference in London, British authority decided to make certain structural changes in Indian affairs, and with this they enacted another comprehensive act known as the Government of India Act 1935. So as a result of the third session of Round Table Conference, British enacted the Government of India Act 1935. Government of India Act 1935. Understand the provisions. Clear? Right. Under this most comprehensive legislation, British introduced the concept of All India Federation. All India Federation, concept of provincial autonomy, and certain miscellaneous provisions. Clear? Under the concept of All India Federation, clear? All India Federation, British wanted certain federal subjects like defense, communication, foreign affairs and finance to be decided by Governor General and his Executive Council. And these provisions were to be applicable to princely states as well. To implement the provision of All India Federation, at least the consent of half of the princely states was mandatory, but princely states never gave the approval, and therefore the very first principle of All India Federation could not come into effect at that time. So, principle of All India Federation could not be implemented at the time, the reason being, clear, because princely states refused to give their consent at this time. Moreover, in order to implement the concept of All India Federation, apart from this concept whereby certain subjects were to be reserved only for Governor General, other changes were also introduced. These changes included, clear, establishment of Supreme Court in Delhi, so that with this Supreme Court, the dispute between the Union and the provinces could be resolved. Clear? To ensure proper All India Federation, it was also made clear all legislative subjects to be divided into central list, provincial list, and the concurrent list, and the subjects mentioned in the concurrent list could be decided both by the central and provincial legislature, and in case of any repugnancy, the central law was supposed to prevail. All these are related to All India Federation. To ensure the concept of provincial autonomy, it was made clear that all the leaders or all the members of Provincial Executive Council, members of Provincial Legislative Councils will be directly elected by the people. So, complete autonomy was to be given at provincial level. It was also made clear the head of Provincial Executive Council would be an Indian leader to be designated as Prime Minister. So, even though all major powers were to be given to Indian leader, even though the post of governor was retained, but the post of governor was made only decoratory in nature. To ensure provincial autonomy, another provision was made, and that provision was that every province will have its own public service commission so that regular examination could be held to elect provincial administrative officers. Clear? This was again to ensure provincial autonomy after abolishing the principle of diarchy at provincial level. Under miscellaneous provisions, provision was made that separate electorate should be extended even for the scheduled caste or depressed classes in India, and under miscellaneous provision only it was decided to separate Burma from India and even to separate Bihar and Odisha on linguistic ground. Clear? All these provisions were made under Government of India Act 1935 to be known as the most comprehensive legislation enacted by British in India. These developments took place under Government of India Act 1935 and to ensure provincial autonomy, whereby Indians were supposed to elect their own representatives to Provincial Legislative Executive Council. British announced provincial elections in 1937. Here also differences of opinion took place among no changers and pro changers. Some leaders wanted to stick with constructive program of Mahatma Gandhi. Some leaders advocated council or rather provincial election participation. And in this respect, the most important change was from C. Rajagopalachari. He said that Congress must participate in this election because scenario of the end of non-cooperation was different from the scenario at this time, because by this time several regional parties had come into being and all those parties were ready to contest the election. In this case, Congress could have been marginalized in Indian politics. And moreover, since Swaraj or autonomy was the aim of the international movement, if it was guaranteed at provincial level, Congress should come forward to accept this responsibility to gain confidence among masses. Mahatma Gandhi got convinced and Congress leaders were allowed to participate in provincial election. Now we'll look into the verdict of these elections of 1937. Clear? So coming to provincial elections. Provincial elections 1937 in all 11 provinces. We had discussed those 11 provinces. Clear? Clear. Is it fine? Clear. Zamindari and Mahalwari settlement. Sorry sir, but can you once explain Zamindari and Mahalwari settlement? I'll come to that, don't worry. Clear? Okay, just continue with this. Provincial elections of 1937. Clear? In the elections held in 1937, Congress party was able to gain absolute majority in 6 out of 11 provinces. These provinces were the Central Province, United Province, Bombay, Madras, Bihar, and Odisha. Clear? Right. On the other hand, Congress party was able to form coalition government. It was not the largest party but succeeded in forming government with coalition partner. Congress party was able to form coalition government in the northwest frontier province of India, Sindh and Assam. Sindh and Assam. Clear? Assam. Right. However, Congress could not form government in Punjab, where a regional political party, the Unionist Party, formed government, and Sikandar Hayat Khan became the Prime Minister. Sikandar Hayat Khan became the Prime Minister. Clear? Second province where Congress could not form government was the province of Bengal, where a coalition government was established by Muslim League and a regional political party known as the Krishak Praja Party. Known as the Krishak Praja Party, and this government was headed by Fazl ul Haq, leader of Muslim League. Fazl ul Haq. Now, with this electoral verdict, it must be clear, Congress was the most representative party of India, but at the same time, Congress was not popular in Punjab and Bengal. Another message was Muslim League was not at all a popular party in India, which failed to form government in any one province also. Even in Bengal, it could manage to form only coalition government at this time. Clear? As soon as this electoral verdict took place, Congress party formed ministries in 9 provinces out of 11 provinces, and in this Congress ministers remained in power for almost 28 months, more than 2 years. And in this 28 months of Congress rule, Congress leaders provided all support to masses like proper law and order, construction of bridges, construction of roads. They saved every single penny by themselves transport, then moving in second-class railway compartment. And for the first time, masses began to realize the importance of Swaraj or home rule or independence at this time. And therefore, these leaders gained huge respect among masses, especially C. Rajagopalachari as Prime Minister of Madras and Sri Krishna Sinha as Prime Minister of Bihar at this time. Clear? And at this time, all Congress ministries remained in offices for almost 28 months. In 1939, all of them resigned continuously en masse because Britain declared India to be a party to Second World War, which broke out in 1939 without taking the consent of Indian leaders. And when all Congress leaders resigned, Muhammad Ali Jinnah declared the day as Day of Deliverance. He felt relieved as Congress party resigned from all 11 provinces. Clear? And all of them resigned also because they realized now the final battle has to be fought to liberate India from British rule. And therefore, they requested Mahatma Gandhi to launch mass movement against British authority. Mahatma Gandhi highlighted his approach very well. Mahatma Gandhi made one thing very clear, that in course of Second World War, much more serious threat than British imperialism was a new ideology known as fascist ideology or ideology of extreme nationalism or ultra-nationalism. And this ideology of extreme nationalism or ultra-nationalism was highlighted by 3 countries involved, that is Germany, Italy and Japan, also known as Axis power. So at this critical time, Mahatma Gandhi made it clear we need to support Britain fighting against fascist power. But Mahatma Gandhi also made it clear how an enslaved nation can support Britain. So Mahatma Gandhi highlighted that Britain should give dominion status to India immediately, and India will support Britain in its fight against fascist power. Clear? At this time, British authority announced an offer for India to gain India's support against fascist power, and this offer is known as August Offer of 1940. Under August Offer, British made it clear India would be given dominion status in near future without specifying any time limit. And at the same time, in August Offer, British made it clear no constitutional progress is possible in India without the consent of minority communities. So minority communities could not be given or were given veto power at this time. Congress rejected the August Offer, and Mahatma Gandhi went forward to launch a limited mass movement known as Individual Satyagraha. Launches Individual Satyagraha in 1940, whereby one person at a time was supposed to promote the principles of Satyagraha. The first person to offer Satyagraha under this scheme was Acharya Vinoba Bhave. Acharya Vinoba Bhave. And the second person to launch individual Satyagraha was Jawaharlal Nehru. Clear? Right. However, this individual Satyagraha this individual Satyagraha could not have much impact on Britain. Meanwhile, Japan as a fascist power defeated the powers in Southeast Asia, where large number of Indian soldiers were also defeated, and Japan began to advance towards India from northeastern side. Clear? This created sense of anxiety both among Indian leaders as well as among British. And to get the support of Indian leaders, British deputed an British cabinet member to India, and this member of British cabinet who came to India was Sir Stafford Cripps. Sir Stafford Cripps. Clear? After negotiating with Indian leaders, Sir Stafford Cripps gave his proposal in 1942 known as the Cripps Proposals. Known as the Cripps Proposals. Cripps Proposal. Clear? Right. Cripps Proposal. Right. This proposal announced that dominion status would be given to India. Dominion status would be given to India. After the end of Second World War. After the end of the Second World War. End of the Second World War. Second World War. Clear? Right. Moreover, moreover, this proposal again gave power to Muslim minorities to prevent constitutional progress. To prevent constitutional progress. Right. Congress party rejected the Cripps proposals as well, and out of anxiety, Mahatma Gandhi convened the meeting of All India Congress Committee at Bombay. Meeting of All India Congress Committee at Bombay on 8th of August 1942. 8th of August 1942, and announced the third mass movement. As the Quit India Movement. Quit India Movement. Clear? Third mass movement. Clear? Now just understand, before this movement could be launched, all Congress leaders were arrested in the morning of 9th of August 1942. So first important thing was the movement became leaderless and directionless. The movement became leaderless and directionless, first feature. Therefore, movement turned out to be spontaneous. Features are asked: spontaneous and violent. Spontaneous and violent. The most important role in this movement was played by large number of students with epicenter at Eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Next feature was parallel governments were established by the local leaders. The first parallel government established at Balia in Eastern Uttar Pradesh by a local leader, Chitu Pandey. Second parallel government was established at Tamluk in the Midnapur region of Bengal, known as Jatiya Sarkar. The third parallel government was established at Satara in modern Maharashtra. Satara in modern Maharashtra, known as Prati Sarkar, under the leadership of Nani Patil, the longest serving parallel government. Important features of Quit India movement. Women played the most important role in this movement. Aruna, Asif Ali, hoisted the tricolor flag with the beginning of this movement. Usha Mehta organized All India Radio, Secret Service of All India Radio, to promote movement. Then socialist leaders like Ram Manohar Lohia, and Jayaprakash Narayan inspired the students, and they even established surprise attacking force known as Azad Dasta in Nepal. Clear? Right. However, the communist leaders turned out to be pro-British. This was unfortunate. The communist leaders turned out to be pro-British during this movement. Communist leaders turned out to be pro-British. That is why they give you options like this. Why pro-British? Will understand this. Clear? In the course of Second World War, when it was going on, clear, Hitler attacked even Soviet Union. When Hitler attacked Soviet Union by end of 1941, communist leaders decided to show sympathy to Soviet Union because communism emerged from Soviet Union. And to show sympathy to Soviet Union, communists began to support Britain in India. Why? Both Britain and Soviet Union were the victim of common country, that is Germany, Adolf Hitler. So to show sympathy to Soviet Union, communists began to turn out to be pro-British India. They supported British in suppressing the mighty revolt or major revolt of Quit India movement. So movement came to an end in 1942, just after a few months with brutal suppression. From 1942 till 1945, no major developments took place in India because Congress leaders were behind the bars and masses had been brutally suppressed. Clear? Thereafter, when in 1945, Second World War came to an end and all political leaders were released, a final showdown started towards India's liberation. Clear? But meanwhile, when in these 3 years, no major development took place in India, Indian nationalism got effectively expressed outside India, and this was expressed by Subhash Chandra Bose. So we need to understand about this leader and his contribution to Indian national movement. Clear? Subhash Chandra Bose emerged as a youth leader along with Jawaharlal Nehru, highly influenced by socialist ideology. Clear? And therefore, Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru together established Indian Independence League. Both of them together established Indian Independence League in 1927 during Madras session. Indian Independence League in 1927 during Madras session. Both leaders began to demand complete independence for India, and this was finally demanded by Jawaharlal Nehru during Lahore session in 1929 with support of Subhash Chandra Bose. Clear? In course of time, Subhash Chandra Bose became highly popular and he was elected as Congress President during Haripura session, Gujarat in 1938. And in this session, clear, Subhash Chandra Bose established the National Planning Committee. Subhash Chandra Bose established the National Planning Committee under the chairmanship of Jawaharlal Nehru to start the process of economic planning and resource distribution in India. Big step. Clear? Subhash Chandra Bose again decided to contest for presidential election, and this session in the next year, the session being convened at Tripuri, modern Madhya Pradesh near Jabalpur in 1939. However, the candidature of Subhash Chandra Bose was opposed by Mahatma Gandhi, and Mahatma Gandhi presented his own candidate at Tripuri session against Subhash Chandra Bose. This leader was a Telugu leader, Pattabhi Sitaramaya. Clear? Pattabhi Sitaramaya. Right. However, during this session, Subhash Chandra Bose defeated Pattabhi Sitaramaiah with a huge margin. Pattabhi Sitaramaiah with a huge margin, which was not acceptable to Mahatma Gandhi. Right? Therefore, Subhash Chandra Bose stepped down from Congress presidentship, and resigned from Congress party in 1939. Right? Thereafter, he established his own political party. Known as the Forward Bloc. And began to give radical speeches. Okay? Right. Subhash Chandra Bose was arrested, but he managed to escape from India. And after traveling to several countries, he finally reached Singapore. In 1943. Right. In this region, large number of Indian prisoners of war, where Indian soldiers defeated by Japan. Large number of Indian prisoners of war were clubbed together as Indian National Army by Captain Mohan Singh and Niranjan Singh Gill. Okay. Right. When Subhash Chandra Bose reached Singapore, Indian National Army was under the command of Rash Bihari Bose. Bose, not Ghosh, revolutionary. Rash Bihari Bose. Clear? Right. Subhash Chandra Bose reorganized Indian National Army and even established a women regiment. Under the command of Lakshmi Sehgal. Subhash Chandra Bose negotiated with Japan to liberate India. And he renamed Indian National Army. As Azad Hind Fauj. Indian National Army as Azad Hind Fauj. Azad Hind Fauj. Clear? Right. With the slogan of Dilli Chalo. And Jai Hind. He began to proceed towards India. Right. However, United States dropped 2 nuclear bombs. On the Japanese cities. 2 nuclear bombs on Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, 6th of August, 9th of August in 1945, which led to end of Japanese aggression end of Japanese aggression, and after some time, Subhash Chandra Bose died in a plane crash, largely accepted. Subhash Chandra Bose died in a plane crash. Died in a plane crash. In a plane crash. Clear? Just understand, after the end of Second World War, global community established the United Nations Organization and pressurized the European powers to liberate the colonies of Asia and Africa. Under such global pressure, British authority appointed Cabinet Mission Plan for India, comprising of three members, Sir Patrick Lawrence, Sir Stafford Cripps, and A.V. Alexander. Clear? Right. Understand, clear? The Cabinet Mission Plan. The Cabinet Mission Plan clear? Mission Plan outrightly rejected the demand for Pakistan, raised by Muslim League during its Lahore session in 1940. Clear? 1940. Right. At the same time, Cabinet Mission Plan recommended that Indian leaders should establish a constituent assembly to draft the future constitution of India. Clear? India. Like, it was decided to elect 389 members in the Constituent Assembly, in which 296 members were to be elected from British India and 93 members from princely states. Okay. Right. However, princely states refused to participate, and elections were held only for 296 seats. In this election for 296, Congress Party won 208 seats, Muslim League won only 3 seats, and Independent won 15 seats. Clear? This made it clear that Congress was still the most representative party, and as soon as this electoral verdict came, Muhammad Ali Jinnah announced the Direct Action Day. On 16th of August 1946, leading to communal rights all across India. Meanwhile, Congress members decided to start the process of drafting constitution, and as per recommendation of Cabinet Mission Plan, Congress members established an interim government. on 2nd of September 1946 with Jawaharlal Nehru as the head. Clear? With support of Indian government, the elected members of the Constituent Assembly convened the first meeting. This date is very important. The first meeting on 9 December 1946 at New Delhi. New Delhi, clear? Right. They elected Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. As the temporary president. On 11th of December 1946, they elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the permanent president. On 13th of December 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru passed his objective resolution or introduces objective resolution, which was passed on 22nd of January 1947, that declared India to be sovereign, democratic and republic. Constitutional developments. Clear? Now just understand, meanwhile, in the beginning of 1947, general elections took place in Britain, and in this election, the Labour Party emerged victorious, sensitive to India, emerged victorious, and on behalf of this party, Clement Attlee became British Prime Minister. Clear? Right. He made an announcement. That latest by 13th of June, 30th of June 1948, British will vacate India. He fixed the deadline, vacate India. Clear? Like, to expedite the transfer of power, Clement Attlee deputed Lord Mountbatten as Governor General of India. Right. After negotiating with Indian leaders, Mountbatten announced his plan. On 3rd of June, also 3rd June plan, announced his plan on 3rd of June 1947, whereby India was to be independent, but divided into two countries of India and Pakistan. Right. Meanwhile, just understand, question has been raised. Shaurya Raghuvanshi, Wavell Plan and CR Formula. Lord Wavell, who was the Governor General before Mountbatten, convened a conference in Shimla, and whereby when he convened the conference in Shimla, he said that first of all, independence should be guaranteed to decide the partition. Muhammad Ali Jinnah outrightly rejected the plan known as Wavell Plan. Later, after C. Rajagopalachari also gave formula that there should be a common federal center constituted with equal representation from leaders of Muslim League and Congress party, and therefore modalities should be decided once power was transferred. Muhammad Ali Jinnah remained to be adamant that he cannot negotiate unless the division or separation of Indian territory has been done into India and Pakistan. So most of these formulas failed in course of time because of adamant approach of Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Mountbatten Plan, clear? And in order to demarcate the political boundary, Lord Mountbatten appointed a boundary commission. appointed a boundary commission under British officer Lord Ratcliffe, who demarcated the political boundary based on the criteria of 60% or more concentration of Muslim population. 60% or more concentration of Muslim population. Clear? Population, right? In this way, partition was done, and British parliamentarians introduced the Indian Independence Bill. On 4th of July 1947, which was passed on 18th of July 1947 and implemented by leaders of India on 15th of August 1947. 15th of August 1947. So India became independent in this way. Major events, just understand as a revision method, and you will get questions on all these things. Clear? At the same time, there are some other issues of national movement that needs to be discussed separately, especially the socio-religious reform movement, the peasant and tribal uprisings, and at the same time, growth and development of education will be the revolutionary agitation. Will come to all those thematic topics as well. Clear? So those thematic topics also needs to be covered properly. Is it clear? No. It's 6:15, about almost 6:15. We'll take a break for half an hour and we'll continue again from 6:45, in which we'll discuss the thematic topics of national movement. Along with that, we'll discuss about post-independent era as well. After we complete post-independent era, we'll start with ancient medieval art and culture, and then we'll follow international relations. One thing is clear, whatever be the time, we'll be completing all these areas today only. Clear? So just sit up with all patience, sit up with all forbearance, just sit up with all endurance. We'll be completing all these things today itself. Clear? Thank you, Rakesh Lakhera. 18th of July, this act was passed by British Parliament. It was implemented on 15th of August by Indian leaders.